The Canola School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Alberta Canola Producers Commission, SAS Canola, and Manitoba Canola Growers.
Kelvin Heppner with Real Agriculture. We all know bin size on farms has been growing rather rapidly over the last number of years, and joining us now to talk about what that means for managing canola in these large bins, we have Lorne Greiger with the Prairie Agricultural Machinery Institute, or PAMI. Lorne, where are we at now with the average bin going up in Western Canada? What size would it be?
Right now, the average bin size is around 25,000 bushels. That's grown substantially from previous years.
Yeah, no longer the old 1,800 or 1,500 or...
That's exact. 1650s were common years ago, but that's really one of the challenges when you look at this, is because the research was done on those bin sizes now. So we're looking at larger bins as how does that affect when you scale up, go to affect the bins and research.
So what have you been looking at when it comes to storing canola, a volatile, one of the more volatile crops that we store in some of these 25,000 bushel behemoths?
Yeah. One of the real challenges with canola is because it's such a small seed size, so it's a lot harder for push air through that mass of grain inside the bins compared to, say, a corn or a soybean, which is a large seed, lots of airspace around the seeds. It's easy to push the air through your bin. So canola especially, you want to make sure you maintain a certain minimum airflow rate, and with the small seed size, you can actually overpressure your fan potentially with that style of seed.
So that means your fan's cutting out?
That means your fan could be cutting out. So that's some research we did here at the Canola Council this past year, and understanding what that effect is as you fill your bin up, like how much back pressure are you putting in your fan, and understanding that type of event during harvest time.
Okay. So part of the factor here is, or one of the things that's contributing to this situation is the infrastructure in our bin yards. It's also not built to have extremely large fans on these bins, right?
That's right. That's other consideration. Typically, most farms have single-phase power, which would really limit your fan size to a 10-horse motor. And we found with the standard size, we had a centrifugal fan on the bins that we were working with, and we're actually able to stall a fan out before we filled the bin to the full capacity.
Okay. So then you're not even... Your fan capacity doesn't even match what your bin capacity is, and if you're putting canola in that bin and it's full.
That's correct, and that's what we found. We're about 17,000 bushels, or just over 17,000 bushels in this case, that we're starting to stall the fan, or very close to stall out compared to the full capacity of 25,000 bushels. So your fan could be running, but you might not be putting any air through, which could be a potentially bad situation, especially with canola inside a bin.
Okay, so what are the options then? Do we have to call the utility company and get them to install a bigger power line?
The easiest option actually is just not to fill your bin as much, just to be aware of what your fan is doing and understand what your capacity is on your fan compared to your bin height, and measuring the back pressure if you can on the fan. So that's something that can be done relatively easily.
Is spreading so you don't have the peak formation in the bin, is that something that would help with getting that airflow through?
We did work with a spreader as well, and that's something that we're still analyzing the data on. But the thing with the spreader, it's more consistent. It gives you a level surface, so your air is flowing consistently through, as opposed to going through in a peaked style of bin where you have your air taking the path of least resistance, which would be around the outside of the bin and not going through the center mass of the grain right at the peak, which can potentially cause you issues with storage.
Okay, so that might get you a little bit more storage capacity then?
It might get you more storage capacity. You'll be more effective with the work that you're doing with your fan. So your air is actually being driven through the entire grain mass if you use a spreader compared to looking at a peak surface.
Okay. So where are you taking this research from here, Lorne?
We're looking at additional work in fan capacity and trying to understand what's the minimum airflow rates that are going to be going through that. So that's work that we like to do here coming up, moving forward.
Okay. We're also seeing advancements in the sensor technology in the bin, so you get a better picture, a better understanding of what it looks like, where it is getting dry and where it's not.
That's right. That's some of the advances here, is actually in sensor, in bin technologies, and having a good understanding of what your moisture content as well as your temperature. Both those are important, understanding what your conditions are inside your bin.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for your time, Lorne.
Thank you.